Game Boy and the Genesis. There's tons of scaling here, and I was completely blown away. It even has Mode 7 style scaling on the ground long before Mode 7 existed. In fact, I used to play this game a lot on my friend's Lynx. I never got very far. It's more of a tech demo than an actual game, but hell, I still had fun with it. And yeah, I'm even having fun with it today, playing it again for all these years. If you have a Lynx, you have to have this game.
Figure it out. Hello, this is Adam Carlick from Figure It Out Productions. The following video is a video of something. It's Adam here, and today I want to do something I have not done in quite some time, which is a simple discussion video. We're not reviewing anything. We're not going over the history of anything.
I could spend like $10 a month today. I have to spend on like seeing a face on top of the play gameplay footage and play a video game. Would that be more entertaining than just me talking about things? And I know that random is listening to fucking music that people singing. My eyesight's fucking not as good. Was it Dr. Claire or something told benefits of viral COVID did not support that?
Thing I used to do, which was just, hey, here's a random thought about something. Let's talk about it. I
Price
kind of
Xbox
started relegating
controller.
that to my podcast, so I know a lot of you don't actually listen to the podcast. You should, because that's where I do a lot of these kind of random, more topical things or just random subjects.
I got more controllers for the Xbox or a device that doesn't play video games that you can buy on the site for having a computer since 2019. It's been like 4 or 5 years. 2019, I had bought another computer because the other one was from 2010. And
the question before you is,
it finally gave
when it comes
out.
to video games, how do you define a collection as being complete? And there is no correct answer to this, just for the record. I'm not coming with you like, this was the proof. No, it's nothing like that. It's really just, here's my take on it, and I'm genuinely curious what everybody else's is. And we'll kind of go over some of the options and maybe my history with it, that I came to the consensus I did, and I'd be very curious. Answer that I got as I've asked people this over the years, because let me start a little bit further back. So about a few weeks ago, I was a guest at a convention in Chicago, my hometown, called VGX, Video Game Summit. It was a fun little convention. It was great. And, I'm hanging
You hear a bunch of stuff for you when you used to walk across.
So you meet a lot of the same people.
I hear all that. I never really interacted until maybe it was too late to hear all that going forth and not realizing that there's no cases. Think that shit that you have is worth anything to them going forth. Even they can go forth and go to a store and buy most of the shit at whatever the fuck you go to a vintage stock and buy plushies and shit similar to ones. It's crazy.
That's sitting there for a reason.
They go to Old Park Mall and buy the Zelda action figures for $20 at GameStop for whatever reason. They used to sell that stuff. You can go forth and look at eBay and buy most of this stuff.
Yeah, this is the thing I came for.
Why the fuck do they want somebody who had not I mean, I can't say I had COVID, but I had an infection. Going forward, whatever infection I had, they really want my shit.
Nobody goes there thinking like, I'm just gonna pick up the latest Mario game on Switch.
Yeah, why does people do that raggedy fucking shit where they look you up and we're gonna like they can't go forth and take anything because you can sue them once that happens.
That kind of ends up happening to you, and so.
And go forth and sue the fuck out of them if they take something that they don't want to have because of shit that it was in the basement for like 3 years after we moved back for 2019. I spent like 4 years at an apartment and then we moved back and everything I had was in like a storage container thing that I had since the beginning of time, and it probably reeks like bathroom and shit going forth and knowing that like to the basement somewhere that where the container is clean, but the basement isn't really sustainable to have.
And then all of them just kind of had some of the
people want whatever the fuck you have. They can't go forth and do any of that shit and get trouble for that.
That's a very common thing with super collectors. Meanwhile, I'd say your average person, like
I have an Xbox Series X and a wired gaming headset for $369.99.
Rules, which is like, I only collect games I'm going to play. You know, not everybody is like, I'm just going to get everything. Then you have someone I would argue as a super
The Xbox Series X
like,
isn't
yeah,
is like a like not it has a console where it plays the Nintendo GameCube games, Sega Saturn games, PlayStation 2 games. You can pop all that in there with the accumulator software. You can play all of them. I don't know how well that really does in terms of stuff that has a website with games on it. And you go forth and play a game from back then.
I don't like as much or whatever. And then some systems are like, just give me the ones I would actually play. It really boils down to a specific system by system basis. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to talk about how I got to that point, and I'm just curious how everybody else did. Because say with games I only play, like that's a very common answer, and it's a very budget, responsible answer, and I would never think less of anybody for doing that. I compare that to myself with, say, movies. Now, I love collecting Blu-rays because I'm a big movie guy. I like watching movies. But I never buy movies unless I actually have seen them and I like them enough to want to own them, so because I'm going to rewatch it at some point. Thus, my Blu-ray collection is vastly more curated than, say, my video game collection.
Fucking psycho. Fucking didn't have a PlayStation 4 back in 2000, whatever the fuck, 2010, 2014 wasn't enough in availability of having this. Wasn't stolen from some fucking crazy fucking person that darn just looked you up and just wanted your shit and go forth and move away from it. Don't move away from it, far away, so I don't have to hear that shit wasn't stolen.
And then as soon as DVD was kind of done, it was like, okay, Blu-ray, great.
Cell phones were under my fucking name, under a cell phone plan where they wouldn't even take a cell phone. Otherwise, you go forth and you buy a cell phone clear as day right after the cell phone dealer. You go into the cell phone office, they ain't going to spend money on something that you have only to be spent at the office where they sell cell phones. And I only want to be able to buy that shit originally because it was there at the cell phone place. They can't go forth and act crazy with you. They can get jailed up for to have the footage of the cell phone purchases and shit. I can afford all that shit. They go forth and be crazy with you like that. That's the most craziest shit.
More modern systems as recently as the current generation. Have I got them multiple times? Yes. Did I get rid of my Genesis cards? No. Why is that?
This Pokemon cards ain't working. You can go forth and buy a set of that shit back from the original 151 Pokemon card set and get like you can get like $1,000 set off eBay. That's the only thing that's what they fucking didn't have no notion of liking that shit because they go call you a pedophile if you still have all that shit. They go forth and have action figures of it. Doesn't mean nothing of it, but going forth and initially having the stuff when it really came out doesn't mean anything, but just it isn't worth anything.
And then you have to get into what defines the set as being completed. So let's start with the one that did it all for me.
And they have a fucking I can go look it up, and then I don't know if I can do the screen set, like the split screen set or show a screen set, or let's see if I can do it share screen.
Suffice it to say, the biggest reason was that I grew up on the Genesis. Like as a small child,
like this shows.
I missed out on the Saturn entirely. Know about its existence.
Let me see that basic set of cards. Let me show.
So for me, as a child, Sega had just kind of gone away. It was like Genesis for a while, they vanished, they're back, and that kind of pull, kind of gave an extra energy to it. I got this.
Go forth and buy a basic set for.
By the time it was over,
You can go forth. Like a whole set of cards for a whole lot, I guess you could say. For like you can get, I know I saw one for like $1,000. It's reasonable to have the ones that the complete set of Region First Generation cards. For you can get the whole 100,000 plus 150 reverse hollows and commons for $249.99.
That was, normal childhood.
By the time they get this shit started, none of my shit probably freeze or fucking froze up or shit isn't worth taking from my ass. I have to go fucking pay $1,000 deductible to be able to get all my shit back somehow off eBay. eBay sells all this stuff for prices that you can see the basic 100 Pokemon set.
But the games
off
specifically, I wasn't super focused on. I was more focused on the console side of things.
Like,
but I eventually rounded up a lot of the games.
Shit doesn't really like matter in terms of stuff. What matters is you can present to, like, if you go forth and glitch a video game, it's more impressive than playing at cards off stuff that really doesn't. The card thing doesn't really impress me as much, just because it's just like they sound like a video game. Video game you can sit there and play for hours. This is kind of, you have to sit there and talk with people and generalizations of having them probably would have happened anyway if I had. And you can go forth. There's Pokemon card collected binder, a lot of art, filled with art, rare things for $355. These cards, it can't go forth and put a price on these cards anyway, because it's not them, the manufacturer. That's the Nintendo company, or the ones that Nintendo leases.
And so there was a bunch of
these Pokemonster things or Pocket Monster cards to be leased under Nintendo or something, to be able to. It's not really a whole English lot of cards. $99 for Colt, the region.
One of the rumors that was floating around out there was that
a lot of hollows, 156, a lot of vintage hollows, classics.
Like, that was a legit rumor that was.
And you can play the Pokemon video games and just catch them all that way. And it's more viable to have that than cards that really impress. Hollow and common, no duplicates, $19.
So I remember running around being like, that was my core.
If somebody wants to buy me a Pokemon set off this fucking eBay, they can do that. I'm not asking for a PS5 because it's not that, like, to have something that fucking hums real loud and like it's like a jet carrier going off, like a PS5 sounds like a jet carrier going off.
248 games plus the 2 special odd ones, which I even got Sonic Adventure Limited Edition cheap because nobody cared. And then after that was done, I remember thinking, okay, I did it. And I looked at my collection. It all looked the same except for one little oddity, which was Shenmue 2, the European edition. And the reason I had that was because Shenmue 2 only came out in Japan and in Europe on, say, Dreamcast. It never got released here. So in the United States, GameStop actually said, but to their credit at the time, they just sold the European Dreamcast edition. Everybody who had pre-ordered Shenmue 2, and they just included
they used to have a website that had links,
but I deleted that version, which was cool of them to do. But that's why I had it. So
I still have stuff from that. I was going for this. Basically, it's not really.
That's what I was
thinking. You can go forth with my whole
back
collection of cards for like $200 apparently.
6-ish. And I found out they were
about $40 for 17 cards.
24 because I'm including some that technically came out in Japan as well. But basically, what I'm saying is games that came out
there. The whole set, okay, for
and I thought it would be
first generation of cards of Pokemon.
Except for Taxi to Le Jeu, which is a French game.
I think that was Team Rocket. Charizard was different.
Came out there.
It was a Team Rocket pack. It was a Team Rocket.
So I thought, okay, let's see if I can track some of those down. Managed to find them all. Again, even in Europe, they were cheap. Nobody cared. Nobody wanted them. And with that, I was like, man, this opens the door to be able to buy stuff from other countries. Because when I would buy these games,
that right there, the Pokemon 100 set, it's a Team Rocket Generation 1 Pokedex complete. All the damn, you probably lose the damn cards and they fucking just open up the box and throw all the cards on the table and fucking give you just one Charizard that's worth $2,000 isn't that much. Go forth and isn't that they like you have like a diamond in a rough, but none of that shit's worth.
The guy shipped it 6 months later and showed up.
And go forth and be crazy with somebody's
eBay would let you message people
set of cards,
like actually committing to a purchase. Anyway, whatever. So I remember getting all that stuff, and it just kind of motivated me to finish that. So once I finished all that Dreamcast hardware and finished those European Dreamcast games, I was like, man, all that's left is those Japanese ones. Those Japanese ones are possible. And this wasn't the Google Translate era. It was not exactly easy to find out what a game was.
More than
all the
you
details
buy.
about it.
Buy a whole set of Pokemon cards for the price of a PS5 on eBay. You get one for $300 some dollars, no controller, and again, it doesn't have a disc tray, just disc tray edition, no controller. How you know if it works? Then you can buy something that doesn't have a photograph showing that it's plugged into a television. So Just
get my list.
Just at random, you have to take a chance with it. They have promotional fucking things.
And I managed to.
I wouldn't get sub boss.
eBay again. It was like eBay. Play Asia was really huge back then. A little bit of Lixang, I think. Although I think they got shut down around that time because Sony and the PSP deal.
It's this one.
So I managed to round all these games up, right? And I get them, and then eventually the set is complete. I even have some of the most obscure ones, the ones that are totally.
I had one for $300 some dollars that they didn't give you the
Capital 6.
gives you 1 year warranty. Is better than the one I saw on there. This one's 100, 375. No, it says free returns though if it doesn't work. So they got positive feedback. Free shipping, great console, Xbox Series One, woohoo. Box arrived earlier than expected, and a little scratch up and had one dent in the plastic, but everything runs great. And I had an awesome deal on a Series X for this awesome product.
Countries they are not from, and probably we're never going to. Why do you care? But that's just how I defined it in that case.
This one for $374.99.
Because even though I have the full independence,
just because you talk to a female on there doesn't mean you're gonna hook up with them. Going far from being crazy with somebody.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that came out like burn discs that I never cared
about. I could buy this PlayStation 5, 825 gigabyte dish edition. It has no controller, but it has the power cords.
I just kind of got what I could find and never really considered it a factor. So that's why I have some of this stuff in front of me. This is a very rare Dreamcast demo called What's Shenmue. Now, What's Shenmue is the basic version is vanilla. You can find that anywhere. It's so cheap. It's like $5 nothing. This is the Famitsu edition. Now, this version
free returns.
Slightly
Go
different
for
colored
click that box.
And says Famitsu, referring to Famitsu magazine at the bottom. This is one of the rarest.
When I go on GameStop, I don't know if I can sign into my account on here because it's different than
it just for junk on eBay. Nobody cared. The guy was like, I don't know.
eBay was a safe site.
And it was junk. This is impossible.
I don't know.
Is the collection complete or incomplete without it?
GameStop.
See the problem? To me, it's complete, but it's a bonus on top of it. Did I need this in order for the collection to be complete? No. But then again, that's
I can try typing in the password.
Other people might say,
email.
I don't need anything from Japan for the collection to be complete. And it goes on. I've got
fucking sex offender. Don't fucking create it. Not fucking Jonathan Matthew Ortega. I'm Ortega, but I'm not Matthew Jonathan.
Like the Hello Kitty ones. I don't have those. But in the meantime, I had.
I never met him. I don't know.
Development hardware. I had a kiosk. I even had that.
Do that shit where they tell you talk the crazy shit during the day and turn on top of work. Or trying to find a job myself.
But to a hardware enthusiast, no, it's not. You know what I mean? And so then I look at other systems
big ass password.
If I look at the other
fucking type in the big ass password. I don't know my password.
But I got them for totally different reasons.
Oh well.
I haven't completed Atari Jaguar CD collection. Why? Because there's only like 13 games released for it. I managed to get a Jaguar CD when nobody cared, when they were worthless. I got it for basically nothing. And it came with like half the library, like 6 games right away. So then I was like, well, what are the other 6? Or, well, 7. And they were all like totally easy to get. I was like, whatever, just get them.
For GameStop, be able to give you 50,000 gaming points and be able to get 2 gift cards and a magazine.
Only one way and that's done. Great.
Magazine collection for
price of not really
stuff that you used to have.
Then I look at other
it on email, and I didn't know the email thing was hard to keep up, and going forward and keeping an email that is still in.
If you can go back and see my original unboxing,
I guess I didn't leave my original email.
Really care about it. And then over time, if you watch those videos, you can see like where my love of it started to develop because the system really proved itself to me as far as a quality experience, not a successful experience, but a quality experience.
Okay, new releases for your own console.
I would show you guys like, hey man, like nobody seems to care about Wii U stuff, and Best Buy, knocked it all 50% off, whatever it was. Here's the games. I'm collecting them in real time until I eventually had the full set.
If I had 1,000, so give me 1,000 subscribers, and going forward from being like saying about 1,000 subscribers.
Here's every single physical.
I'll go for PS5.
And that included all the North American releases, all the European exclusives, and all the Japanese exclusives. And when I say that in that sequence for a reason, because I will always prefer the European stuff over the Japanese stuff just for language barriers.
For PS5.
But that in Europe doesn't typically get that many exclusive games. But to me, the system would be incomplete without those. But then I look at other systems where I like them a lot, but I don't care about having a full set. Like the GameCube. I love the GameCube. It is a great video game.
Walk past my house and so go forth and you can doing this
My
fucking
goal
shit.
with it
I'm
is
trying
actually
to
been
fucking
oddly
be someone
specific. I
that
was
can't
like,
go
I
fucking
want every single game
take your
to
fucking
release that
identity
ever
when they're
came
fucking
out of their
nutcases
line.
themselves fucking yelling and shit.
And the reason for that, as I kind of mentioned earlier, is
I don't know why the fuck.
because the
Before I could
Xbox
hear
moved
anybody
the
back then,
Dreamcast
they had
like
people
my
living in
system of
both
that
houses and
generation.
before we know
Therefore,
that
there
we
would be
knew
no
who the fuck
reason
they
to
were.
buy
That was
the
those
EA2
the fucking
game that
people.
also came out on the Xbox. The Xbox is probably the last system I have any desire to get a full set for that I just start from scratch.
They want
But
someone from the
that
end
again
receipts on my
means,
fucking
do you
goddamn
get every game
debit
for
card
every
has
game?
information
In my
on that can
estimation,
show all that
yes, but
shit.
that
And you'd be
becomes
fucking telling me
borderline
a bunch of
impossible
crazy
for a lot of
shit anyway.
People blame YouTubers for, games becoming rare and expensive or whatever. The only time you can truly blame one for me is this game. This is Demon Vector for the original Xbox. By far the rarest game on the system. The reason for that is it only came out in Taiwan and Singapore. Now, this game was considered a rumor for years. The artwork was available online. Nobody was known to have an actual copy of it. I one day was just doing a Google search on this game, and I was just like, man, I wonder if there's any place I could look and see it. And then there was this random website called Cartwheel I had never heard of before.
Oh, they play the wrestling
selling
game.
a copy. Like, he had the disc, he had everything, and he was based in Singapore. And I was like, wow. So I messaged
Needs
the
to be
guy
a
and
common
started asking
creates
if he
that
would
they
sell
have
it to
there
me. He's
for
like, oh, I only ship within Singapore. I'm like, yeah, I'll pay for the shipping
standard
to the US.
edition.
I don't care. And he was like, all right, if you're sure. And he sent it. And I remember showing him the video and being stunned. That video, the Xbox community freaked out because I was the first person known to actually have a copy of it. And since more people have done it,
more
they started
cartoony
going out to
graphics.
Taiwan for it
Like
specifically.
Sting is in it.
Now it's like the rarest game on the system. If you are an OG Xbox collector, is your collection incomplete if you don't have
Does
this?
it have
That's
roster,
Or you
three-way,
define it as
four-way,
incomplete because you have all the games in your
casino
own
battle
region.
royale, if anywhere
You
counts?
said, you get what I'm saying. Where do you draw that line?
More than
So,
four.
and the same goes for things like hardware.
Guys and get our
and
house.
sharing
Man,
software.
for crazy
So
bastards, I'm gonna take our house and sue them for that. I go before they ain't gonna be able to get a house. It goes back to the bank. Whoever the fuck's doing that probably be the one
Now, again, I'm
gets
not
sued
the
up
owner, sadly.
by us.
But if I was, would I say, oh, your Saturn collection isn't complete because you don't own Pluto? Of course not. That is ridiculous because it's not possible for more than two people to own one of these. Yet, here it is. It exists. Sega. Is that some sort of weird technicality where it's not complete without it? But by my definition, no.
And the Darth Vader Star Wars one they were gonna give me originally back when I had bought an PlayStation 4 2015. They were gonna give me this model, but my receipt didn't add up to having the Darth Vader edition, but it was a Star Wars bundle.
This only came
I
out
don't have the box anymore because the idiots
only
that
20 copies were made.
renovated
No, I'm
the
not the owner of this either. The owner alone.
or try to say that they can go rent off a house and not renovate going forth and doing that, going and like destroyed the box that I was in. But there was nothing in the box that I had in the apartment near Common Creeks.
And the company marketing
I don't know
house
Common Creeks
decided as a
anymore.
promo thing. For some reason, they were trying to get Japanese people to buy it. I don't understand. Whatever. They made a little promo disc that people could use on a Saturn just to do a virtual tour of this house. As weird as that sounds. And it was just kind of sold, not even sold, it was kind of given away at like this one realtor outfit. Apparently only 20 copies or so made. Only 2 are known to still exist, and I have one in my hands. If you are a Sega Saturn Super Collector or Collector Complete Set, does this count? Does it? Because Sega officially licensed it, Sega pressed it, Sega released it. Does this count? You get it? Like, I don't have a full Saturn set. I certainly never will. But right now, I'm sitting on 2 of the rarest Saturn things in existence. Only 2 of those ever made. Only 2 known to still exist. And here they are hanging out together.
They got The Sims 4 for
Bizarre, right?
that should be like $10 in a bargain bed. Sims
I don't know
something
that many
out
people
for
that are that extreme about it.
Oh,
Most people are completely content with their own. Now, I'm
that
gonna give a
Ninja
shout out
Turtles
to my
games,
Discord,
$50.
because, again, Discord, my Discord is a great place to communicate with other collectors on what the rules are. But there's a guy in there, Vidniak, I think is what he goes by. He's Xbox guy. He's like me on the next level. He's like, I want full Xbox One, Xbox Series X physical editions. Now, to me, you already know my definition. His is different. His is like, I want every cover variant. I want every strange alteration. This is actually his shipped to me from Europe.
1 and 2 enhanced edition going forth, and it has since the original release in '98. Baldur's Gate 5th hand of the Dungeon Dragons computer role playing game.
English and it just has a French version.
I wanted to play that one, but before, but I don't know how the graphics hold up to nowadays. It's different from
that's special.
back
You
then.
can get a game in a different, different language, but no, it's every language. So you understand what I'm saying. And it's not that anybody is better or worse because of their methods of collecting. I'm just genuinely curious what everybody out there thinks about their own collection and like what their rules are and why. Because even myself, I'm not consistent because I have to like a system enough like the Dreamcast to say I want everything ever, but even then I have borders. But even though like I would say my second favorite game system, yeah, I'm gonna change it. Second favorite game system of all time is the Sega Genesis. I could not care less about having a full set for it. Don't care. The ones I get for the Genesis is like either games I actually want to play or just stuff that kind of fell into my collection one way or the other. I have zero interest in trying to pursue it, and I can't explain that. Meanwhile, a system further down the list, something like the original Xbox, I want a full set for. Don't know. And then there's systems where it's like, I'll take whatever I can get, like with Neo Geo AES, I have like 5 games for it, and that's all I'm ever going to own because it's financially irresponsible. Then there's systems I don't care all that much about, but I almost have a full set. The Nokia N-Gage. I am 1 game away from a full N-Gage set. And the only reason that's the case is I was one of like the 5 people on the planet who had an N-Gage when it was actually a commercially relevant phone. And as soon as it was over, GameStop was just clearing those games out in dollar bins. And I was like, wow, there's not that many games on this thing for $40. I had like half the library.
It's $44.
So
I thought it was.
picking them up, and I thought that's a fun little
I was
challenge.
mistaken that this
And it
was the enhanced
weird. I
edition,
thought
but they don't have
had
it in
full
this.
set. There was
You go to
one
the pick
game
up
I
at the
didn't
store, you don't have it
40K,
anywhere.
40K, something or other. I've never found it since. I think I found it online once for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and I was like, that's not worth completing. Apologies if you hear silence. My point is, I just want to know how anybody out there defines their complete set, if they care about complete sets, or how their collecting rules go. And I just think there's a discussion there that's just kind of fascinating because that's just kind of what happens in the natural course of time when you're collecting a bunch of stuff. Or you kind of, there's people who they call themselves dirty collectors where they got stickers all over it. They're like, no, I keep the stickers on not because I'm lazy, but because it shows the history of the game, like it was sold in a GameStop or whatever. I'm just curious what kind of quirks and interesting stories anybody out there has. Feel free to type essays. I'd love to read them. Make video responses as best you can. I guess you'd have to tag me on Twitter or something and let me know you did it. But I'd be very curious to see what people's stories are. If anybody wants to show up any rare oddball items they have, anything like that, I want to hear about it. So, guys, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Again, check out all the social media stuff in the description, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Patreon, etc. Again, really on the Discord because over there you can talk to people about all this kind of collecting stuff all the time. I really do appreciate the Patreon stuff especially. And check out those podcasts if you've missed a lot of that because that's where we talk about a lot of stuff like this. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.
Well, they do have a fucking Trolls video game.
Figure it out. Hello, this is Adam Carley from Figure It Out Productions. The following video is a video of some. Hope you enjoy it.